Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cozcast once again. Now today, we've got another guest on today around a certain subject. Not just the streamer today, and not just the streamer's story as how they become a streamer and what they've done in that journey, but a certain event and following events that happen that we're going to discuss. Bit out of the norm for the episodes, we're going to give it a shot. I'm very unknown to the story, so I'm going to hear it firsthand. I'm going to ask the questions firsthand as well. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have Tazz the Geezer on the Cozcast.
Hello. It's me again.
How we doing, mate? How we doing?
I'm well, man. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming on, mate. Thank you for coming on. We know why you're here. The viewers know why you're here. You recently obviously went through some drama, online drama.
Could say that, mate, yeah.
And for people that don't know, including myself, I know the gist, but would you like to start with what happened?
Oh, right from the beginning.
Well, we don't have to be afraid of the gist.
I'll try and speed it up a little bit because I did drag on last night. I'm sure people have seen it. So apologies for that.
There was a lot of people there.
I just wanted to make sure I covered every base. Long story short of it, we had a little bit of a falling out. It's sort of been on the rocks for a little while between me and Cav and Packet. Very controlling with the way that they want everyone to RP in their city. They're choosing who they want in gangs. They're choosing who they want to be, who they want to have the most guns, who they want to have the most drugs, who they want to see. I'm from a place where we RP where the biggest grafters have the most guns, the biggest grafters have the most drugs, the biggest grafters have the most, have the monopoly because they fucking work for it, right? Am I right to swear? Sorry, because I can't help myself. It just comes out.
This is a pod. There's like an unwritten rule with podcasts. You can kind of do what you want. I don't know why, but right. Yeah, you're more than welcome to swear, mate.
Yeah, because that's just going to come out if we like it or not. So yeah, I'm from a place where the hardest grafters have the monopoly, not just some cunt they like because they sit on 400 or 500 views or whatever it is, right? Anyway, I had enough of it at this point, and I sort of spoke up about it. And Cav didn't like it. He tried to give it the big and tried to talk down to you, tried to talk down to me like I'm, like a fucking child in his playground, and it's his fucking Xbox. And if I don't abide by the rules, I ain't playing his Xbox. He's going to tell his mum he don't want me around anymore. Do you know what I mean? That's the sort of vibe I got from it all. So I basically said to him, look, mate, keep your head, stay humble, 5M servers come and go. Just, anything can happen. So just don't get too big for your boots, basically. Anyway, since that little conversation, I was treading on eggshells in there. I was role playing with Wilson, as everyone knows. We had a great little duo going on, a great duo. It's very rare you come, not being arrogant, but it's very rare you come across a duo like me and Wilson because we just bounced off each other. He was the old gangster kind of character. I was the younger, more leery. I based my character was called Gov Fryer, right? Gov Fryer, Danny Dyer. It was that sort of a football factory kind of character. He based himself off bare knuckle fucking boxing matches, standing your ground and fighting, that sort of thing, right? So we bounced off really well with each other, and people love to watch us. We did everything for the gangs in that city. Don't get me wrong, Wilson is top tier at what he does. I learned a lot off of him, but when he started slowing down, when he had his baby, excuse me, when he had his baby, I sort of took over naturally. Sort of asked him if certain things would work, and then in the end, I learned from him, and I just sort of rolled with it. But they didn't like that. They was trying to say that, you can't have a gun, if it was an RP situation and it made sense that Wilson give me his gun for this in case he got held up, which he did at one point by the Moors, which is on my TikTok. And it worked out really well because they did hold him up. And then I came out, I was the one with a gun, not him. They hated that. It's just because they didn't like me in the end. And they were just trying to control it. But they were the same with everyone. They was letting people open gangs, but then telling that person who they could have in their gang.
Yeah.
It was mental. It was a lot of shit that went on. And a lot of people could confirm that. If they stand up or not and say it, I don't know.
And why do you think people, if there is issues, why do you think people don't stand up?
Exhibit A, right? Look what Packet did to me. He fucking, as soon as I stood up to him and I fell out of him, I outed him on TikTok for bringing my kids. I wouldn't have. If he would have just shouted at me and he did bring my kids into it, I wouldn't have done anything. I would have just, bygones be bygones. You're a cunt. Fuck off. I won't speak to you again. But he didn't. He took it one step too far and he put my kids into the equation. I don't know if you're a parent, but if you're a parent, you know, you're the fucking, you know, I'm the king and no one touches my cubs. Do you know what I mean? You get your back up. Of course you do. Any parent would be the same. So yeah, I outed him on TikTok. They mass reported it. Then they took it down within a couple of hours, which is, you know, whatever. Nothing I could do about that. And then it all started going a little bit too far. And I ain't going to say the word, but a message came about which was photoshopped by him because this message never was written. I was in talks with this person, but it never got that deep. But the message, it was a Photoshop message. You could clearly see by the spacing and all that. And I actually had a video. I don't know if you watched last night. I had a video of the person in question admitting that she didn't actually send him any screenshots. So it had to have been created because, I mean, for one, even if she did send him the screenshots, it was never said. But the fact that she didn't send him the screenshots, the proof's in the pudding. How, even if it was said, how has he got them? So it's just a load of bollocks there. So he just took it one step too far with making me out to be some sort of fucking freak, some sort of freak, creep, fucking weirdo. And I just thought, fuck it. It's just, I've got things going on that I don't need that. So I just called it a day and I just thought, fuck it. I closed all my social medias down, deactivated my TikTok, my Twitter. I'd stopped streaming. And I did this for about 4 months until yesterday. And in the last week or so, I've been seeing things on Twitch, mad things that just escalate. Not Chinese whispers is like, they just make up another thing and then add something else in. I just thought, well, fuck this, I've had enough. I'm going to start digging. I'm going to start digging on this cunt because I know exactly what he's like. Now, I've met him a few times in real life. He's arrogant. He's fucking thinks he's something he ain't. Like he's, it's odd. He's very loud online. You meet him in real life, he barely says a fucking word. He just stands there thinking he's the bollocks. But I don't want to get too much into a slagging match.
Yeah,
I'm just here to tell the truth, you know.
Without someone to defend themselves, it would seem morally wrong, even though what has been done to yourself. So we're here for the story, but yeah, I think without them there, and even if both parties were here, it would probably be chaos.
It'd be a mess. Yeah, it'd be a mess. But yeah, so I don't want to get too much into that because I don't want to come across that way. You know, I don't want to. As much as I could say every name about him under the sun.
So these accusations that come about, is this? He's made. What has he done? Did he have an image or did he just make something up?
He basically sent a screenshot around so that like I had said a certain thing in a Discord chat. But yeah, obviously that wasn't ever said, which now we have proof of.
Yeah. And this person has come on stream and said,
no, this person. So I had a phone call with this person and I recorded it on my GoPro.
Yeah.
And then that is what the video which I shared last night.
Yeah.
On my stream. And that was basically, I spoke to her last week because that's the point I thought, Joe, I've had enough. I need to fucking stop this shit. So I rang her up, and then you heard the conversation. And yes, it was edited and the bits were cut out, but that was more due to the fact that she had mentioned names of certain people which I didn't want to be involved, like children, because we were just having a general catch up at the start. How are you? How's such and such? How's this? How's that? And there were certain names in there that no one needs to know, you know? So that's the reason that was cut.
So he edited fake messages to try and tarnish your name.
Yeah, literally, basically that, yeah.
And
it was a deflection. It was a deflection of him trying to defend the way he acted. That's all it was. Go on.
How did you manage to stay so silent for so long?
I just couldn't be bothered, mate. I just, do you know what I thought? I thought if someone's this spiteful and this heartless and this fucking horrible to make up something like that, then what they're going to do next?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I've just got bigger fish frying in my life away from streaming. Streaming was just a fun thing for me. It was never something I wanted to do as a career. It was never something I wanted to do full time. It's playing games. It's my hobby. It's not my lifestyle. It's not my career. It's not something I want to do at all. So when that fun got taken away from it, I just thought, sure, I'm just going to fuck it all off. And it's exactly what I did.
So, and then obviously after, would you say 4 months, was it?
4 months. So it all happened in August.
And then you obviously, I'm sure many people know, and they've obviously heard.
Yeah.
And then you decided to come on last night and finally express your side of the story.
Yeah, I thought enough's enough. But don't get me wrong, I was fucking nervous. I was nervous. I haven't streamed for 4 months, and then I'm coming into a stream where everyone thinks I'm a fucking freak. You know what I mean? It's nerve wracking, and I'm a confident bloke. Like I'm not. I don't really get nervous in situations. I sit across the table multiple times to some big names like out there, and I don't get nervous like that. But I just thought, you're stepping into a place where everyone fucking pretty much hates you. But I thought, I've got to do it. What have I got to lose? Everyone thinks everyone's got this opinion of me anyway. So what have I got to lose? So I thought, fuck it. I'm going to start digging. And I started digging around. And before you know it, his ex-missus messaged me.
And did she reach out to you, did she?
She reached out to me, yeah.
And she, obviously, we called...
No, sorry, that was wrong. I'm lying there. She did reach out to me. I was told about the sort of... I knew, obviously, they broke up with each other because he was giving it the big one to me at an event that basically he was seeing this new bird behind his ex-missus's back. So it's all fucking coming out now. Fuck it, I ain't holding back. I reached... So basically, there's a lot of fucking thingy going across them. He was not very nice to her. Owes her a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. We can get into that later on. So I reached out to her and I just said, look, I'm doing this tonight. Have you got anything you'd like to say? And there was no pressure there. I completely said, only if you're comfortable. And she wasn't comfortable talking completely on the mic. But I wanted her to at least sort of confirm that she was who she was. So no one could just say, I wrote that message. Because I didn't want it to come back saying, look, well, you've just done what he's done. You've just photoshopped her. So I wanted her to confirm that she was who I'm saying she is, and she is happy with me reading out her statement, and she has done it off her own back, and there's been no pressure.
This is it's all crazy, isn't it? When we're all just people that like playing games.
Yeah, it's gone too far, mate. If I don't know how much you watch, but in that clip of him when he went in on my kids,
I did. Yeah, I mean, I don't keep up to date with a lot, but I'm not oblivious. I mean, if something's out there, 9 times out of 10, most people have seen it. Do you know? So I have seen the clip from the start. Yeah.
Prior to that, we was having this conversation. No one was raising any voices. We was absolutely fine. He came in and set that tone. And if he didn't go there, I wouldn't have gone there with the clip on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then none of this would have happened.
And it was just a general conversation, wasn't it? Between
a general conversation. I'd been sacked. My police character had been sacked via a ticket.
Right.
And I was basically saying how shit it was. Do it in city. If I was a wanker as a police officer, so I was always going to get fucked. I was always going to get the gooner all day long. It was just weird. It was just a matter of time, right? But do it in City. They were all streamers. Do it in City. Let's have a scene out of it. But they done it over a ticket, and I just didn't understand that. So I told him what I thought of that, and then that's when he came in and started giving it the big one.
Yeah, that's a tough. 5M is it's a tough environment, isn't it, mate? I've been doing it for 2 years now, and it's a tough environment, isn't it? And yeah, like you say, when you're just here to have fun, and especially when it comes in with any owner, any staff member, it gets real frustrating and sticky, doesn't it?
It's toxic. It's a toxic, horrible place sometimes, mate. Yeah.
I think it's just gaming in general, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The internet.
What game?
It's the internet, isn't it? Yeah.
It's the internet. Yeah, it is the internet. We try and enjoy it, but I don't think no matter what you do or what you play, it's bad.
No, of course.
It's bad.
Yeah.
And then
I'm from a gaming world where you know everyone said everything, but that was it. You leave it there. You know what I mean? You say whatever about the geezer you're playing's mum, and then it's done. You know what I mean? There's none of that follow up like there was.
So this time that you were away, obviously you managed to stay quiet, stay silent. What was going through your mind in that time?
Obviously, it bugged me. I'm a very proud man. And it obviously bugged me that people had this opinion on me that wasn't true. And it was bugging me. It was bugging me for a long time. And then I think I just had enough. And then that's when I decided to come out about it all.
Because I mean, social media is tricky, isn't it? I mean, you could be you could heal world hunger, and it's not even social media. It's life. You could be the best person ever. You could literally save people. You could be a doctor. And there's still be loads of people that have a bad word to say about you.
100,000,000%. And I've always said it. I said you could do the best thing in the world, right? You could do something amazing. You could be the best role model for 10 years. But at one time you fuck up is going to be the time that everyone talks about. Or that one time that someone spreads a rumor. It's much easier for people to jump on a negative bandwagon than a positive one. Because it's more enjoyable for them.
You mentioned, obviously, then like that time you fuck up. Do you think there's anything you've done to fuck up?
I made a big mistake of getting involved with my viewers too much.
Yeah.
As in, there was one person in question, the person that we was talking on a level. Me and my missus was sort of in a rough patch. I did have a missus at the time. I completely admit that. But we was in a rough patch. Missus knows about all of this now, by the way. So if anyone thinks they're going to come out and they're going to fucking stitch me up, there's nothing to stitch up. She knows everything.
I don't think you'd stay out on a podcast if they're not going to know.
There's nothing to stitch up. So that's one thing I regret, was getting involved on that side of things with her. Nothing against her. She's not a bad person. But that was my bad. I shouldn't have done that. But I think I was just a little bit lost in the world. Certain people were showing me attention. And I entertained it when I shouldn't have. Bearing in mind, this person, she came into my DMs. She was very, very full on. There was nothing forced by my end at all.
And the accusations came from these messages.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, the images were edited to say that you said something, I'm guessing.
Yeah, something really fucked up, yeah.
Right. And can we go into that or not? Or
I mean, everyone knows anyway. I'm not going to say the word because it still makes me feel sick. The R word, basically. I want to sort of you whilst my missus watches, was what the message said.
Right, okay, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, mate. If I'm going to be completely honest, I don't even like a finger up my fucking arse. I'm not kinky at all. Do you know what I mean? Let's put it straight. I haven't got one bit of kink in me, mate. I'm boring as fuck. I like a doggy, and that's pushing it for me. That's fucking exotic for me. Do you know what I mean? So, and as soon as, like, obviously, like I said, my missus knows everything. As soon as I told her that, she knew straight away that, well, that's not you. I've been with her 10 years. Not once have I ever been into that submissive shit or fucking. I mean, I feel bad when I pull her hair. You know what I mean? It's fucking. That's not me. So, it's not even like a kink thing. It's nothing what I'm about at all.
So, yeah, like you say, your fuck up. You know what your fuck up was.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And also, I probably took it too far sometimes in the city with things that I said to women. I maybe took my character a bit too far sometimes. You know, like but that was my character. And all the time, people are laughing about it and enjoying it, and the viewers think it's great and whatever. That's content, isn't it? I'm going to carry it on.
Yeah.
You know, you play up to your audience, right? You do. If you get you tell a joke and they like it, you tell it again.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It's that sort of thing, right?
So,
but I think people took that. A lot of people are using that against me now as well. A lot of people are saying, "Oh yeah, but he was a weirdo, wasn't he? He was a weirdo." But who was a weirdo? And then, oh, well, his character. Well, that's not him, then, is it? That's not me. I don't go out on the street and say, "Cool, love, look at that fucking ass." I'm not. I'm not a. You get fucking arrested. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go and do that on the street. But my character, it was based on a football factory. It was a bit of a cokehead. He was fucking partying. You know what I mean, that was the character. But I feel like some people get lost in role play and they generally think that is you.
I think, I mean, on the subject of like characters and stuff, at the end of the day, you're playing Grand Theft Auto.
Of course.
And Grand Theft Auto is based around gangs.
Yeah, and prostitutes. And, back in San Andreas, you pick a brass up and your car would be bounced all over the gaff. I remember being 11 laughing my tits off with my mates.
Yeah, that's
what it is, right?
There's obviously levels to it, but I think some people in this genre
they can't separate the two, can they?
They pride themselves about being a character and playing in a role play environment. But one thing minuscule said, "Oh, you can't say that." Well, look what that NPC just said to me down the road.
Yeah, literally.
They say horrendous things to you. Yeah, I've never understood that, but you do have TOS and stuff like I don't understand it myself. I really, really don't.
But I think a lot of people then, when that sort of came out, all that stuff, people that just had a bit of a bad run-in with me in the past, these people could just simply not like me in RP. And they've jumped on the bandwagon because they don't like me in RP. Oh, this must be true because he was weird that once in RP. You know what I mean? Like, come on now, fucking wake up. It's a game. I'm playing a character.
I think, like you say, people now look for, if you have an accusation made, people will look for any evidence inclined with it, won't they?
100%, yeah.
All from one image, one screenshot, real, fake, whatever. Boom. This is what the whole subject is based off.
And then people were piping up saying, "Oh, he did mention my arse in game once when we was in the city." I'm like, what?
It's worrying as well because whatever the subject is, I mean, anyone in the public eye has done something in their life, haven't they? Do you know what I mean?
Of course. We've all been younger. I've done a lot of stupid stuff when I was young.
When I was 18, I'm sure I used to rob greenhouses and stuff like that. And some Doris one day might go, "Hey, I saw him running away at 1 o'clock." And we've all done things. Do you know what I mean? And
that was it. Yeah, you're the worst person ever.
And it's a very, very scary environment. And like yourself, it stopped you streaming, stopped all content.
Yeah, I mean, what it was for me is I couldn't give a fuck about Packet. I couldn't give a fuck about Cav. I couldn't give a fuck about any of them. What it was mostly for me, the reason I did that yesterday, which I explained, is I want to prevent that happening to someone that's a lot more vulnerable than I am.
Yes.
If that was what happened to me, was to happen to someone that's a lot more sensitive, a lot more, suffers with mental health, a lot of people do, they could top themselves over that.
Yeah.
And and if I didn't speak up, because I was thinking about that for a long time, and if I didn't speak up and it happened again to someone else and they did end up topping themselves, I wouldn't have been able to fucking sleep at night.
Now, to play like a, let's say, a devil's advocates kind of thing. Let's play it that way. What about like if you got misled in the things that you were told? Do you know what I mean?
What from what?
From the parties that have supplied you with information.
Oh, I see it all firsthand, mate, from him himself.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I see the
Obviously,
screenshots of his Discord. I was in his Discord for a long time whilst it was all going on, and whilst he was saying all the things, he'd actually forgot to kick me out because he's a thicko. So I was looking at it myself.
and no, but I mean in terms of like the ex-partner coming to you, because obviously we heard the accusations of a cat. I'm just, does that worry you that you've been misled by the information
So
from it?
no, because before any of that happened on the stream, I see certain evidence of things, vet reports, vet bills, pictures of the ex-girlfriend's bruising, timestamp photos of that, and you can see it's her as well. There was a lot. I don't want to go into it because I've got a level of respect for her for stepping up, and she only wanted me to say what she wrote.
Yeah.
And out of respect for her, I would never go beyond that. But I wouldn't have read that out. I was there to tell the truth and only the truth. I didn't want to go in there the same way he did and make up a load of bollocks just to be spiteful. That's not what I wanted to do.
I think the point is obviously like people need, because I saw it and there's multiple streams, and then people are like, oh well, it's just an ex-girlfriend, which we all know. We've all had ex-partners and stuff. But then like if you can comfortably say no, I'm it all comes down to evidence, doesn't it? Like in the situation with yours, and you're saying that it's been tampered with, it comes down to you to confidently say, no, I've seen the evidence that this can be backed as the truth. And
yeah, I wouldn't have read that statement out unless I see it for myself.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to just question. Like you say, if you go through and you want to show, and then obviously you've been set. I mean, disappearing for 4 months in my eyes seems very sensible, because accusations come out across that, probably flip your lid. I mean,
yeah, of course,
it's crazy.
If I would have done that stream when it happened, I would have been in a completely different mindset, and I would have approached it the wrong way. And last night, I feel like it was pre-recorded because I wanted to make sure that I said everything and covered everything. I was playing a lot of different clips, and I wanted to make sure that people weren't waiting around for me to find a certain bit. And so I wanted to sort of make it as sweet and short and sweet as possible, so people could see as much in a little time as they can, you know?
How do you feel now it's done?
Fucking amazing. Yeah.
Now you've told your side.
Yeah, I feel good because a lot of people are on side now. I've had a lot of people stepping up as well and telling me their stories about what they've encountered with Unique and him, and not just him, the staff, Cav, the way that they've been treated by them all.
It's it must be in. Do you feel, obviously it's not going to be finished?
No, of course not. But this is the thing now, right? He's now, because obviously we get sent things, right? I don't need to be in his Discord to be sent a screenshot of what he's saying.
Yeah.
I don't need to follow him on Instagram to see what he's saying. But now he's muted all of his Discord chats. He muted, I don't know if they're still muted, but he muted all Uniques so no one could say anything. And his statement was, this has now been passed to the police and I'm going to deal with it legally. So.
Well, defamation of character.
Apparently so. Slander. It ain't slander if it's true.
No, there's no such thing as slander if it's true. Yeah.
No. So, I mean, crack on, by all means. I would love to fucking stand up with the Geezer's as thick as my left bollock. You know what I mean? Honestly, I think my left bollock's a little bit more intelligent. It's probably got higher IQ.
Did you know? And I bet not many people do. Did you know that the name Packet was around me? His nickname was around me.
So you give him the name Packet?
Me and Cav, yeah, years
No,
ago.
I did not. Tell me
He
more.
I used to role play with Packet a long time ago in the police, and I mean I don't get along with him. I'll openly say he's a very funny guy. I mean, in role play, I think he would agree he's funny. Purely because of the outbursts, I will admit. But we used to role play together, and yeah, he was this officer that used to sniff cocaine, and he got fired for it and stuff. And yeah, that's where the name Packet came from.
Oh, okay. So what was he called when you met him in RP?
Oh, I think he was just PC Kelly. I think.
Oh, his actual name.
I think it was something like that. Me,
Creative.
Casual started role playing with me.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean,
From the very beginning.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, but me and Cav used to be best mates. I used to play. Right. I met him in Call of Duty, and we used to play now and then. And I got into role playing. It started going all right, and he reached out and he said, "Oh, it's quite good, this, isn't it?" I was like, "Yeah, get involved." And yeah, me and Cav we were the ultimate duo. He will still to this day tell you that, and I will agree. We were very good role players, very good together. And yeah, we done it for a long time, bounced around multiple cities until I decided to make my own, and we decided to go separate ways. I think it's the most professional way to put it, I suppose.
Do you care to shed any more light on why you went separate ways?
I suppose you're being open. I suppose
only fair, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean this is actually quite a tough one for myself. And like I say, I also have to I want to be careful what I say because people aren't here to defend themselves, which I don't think's fair. I don't think's right. But what I've always found really funny, okay, the reason why me and Cav fell out is because I was building my server, and he didn't do nothing to help. He was a head admin. He didn't do nothing to help. But up until release and on release, he was playing elsewhere. And it was very frustrating. Very frustrating because we were trying to make something together. And he has done that. I mean, I have to show them massive respect. I can't take that away from them. I don't think anything can. What they have done with Unique is outstanding, regardless of what you think of someone.
What they have done or what Tyrone has done? Because yes, they're the owners, but let's not forget about the devs. Mark works his ass off. Before Mark, there was other people that worked their ass off day in and day out. I've had multiple times with them where they don't really know how to spawn in a car. So I feel like they get too much credit than they deserve. The names from the start, Tyrone, enough respect for Tyrone, by the way. He's the reason I got partnered. So I'll always have silly amounts of respect for that bloke. And I'll never say a bad word about him because I haven't got one to say. But he's the one that has made that city, not them. Because if Tyrone weren't there and he didn't get all these other people in, and then these other people weren't becoming in like Angry Ginge, and then he wouldn't have bought his girlfriend Turf lot. You know what I mean? It was all because it started off with Tyrone as a big name. And then people wanted to play that city because of Tyrone. And then Tyrone's got mates. And then they wanted to come. They're big streamers. They wanted to come and play. And then before you know it, it's full of all these, celebrities. That's what's made Unique, not them. And I think that ran away with them. They got too big for their boots very quickly. And that is why all these people are now speaking up and telling their story, because they're just not very nice people.
I think this is the ironic thing that I will touch on. This is one thing I will discuss. So obviously, I wasn't happy with him playing elsewhere, and
not helping you build it, right?
yeah, and he came clean with what he thought about me, and that's fine. But what I have always found funny is anyone even searches another server, all gone, everything gone. I've had loads of, obviously we're all streamers, we've all got friends, and we're all in the loop. And yeah, the amount of times I've heard, oh, I've just popped here and I've lost everything.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I find so ironic, that he takes the action way worse than what I did.
And that is exactly why people are too scared to speak up about anything they disagree with, because they know people have disagreed with Cav. Cav is very much the same as Packet. Cav's just a little bit smarter, right? Packet's a loudmouth twat and he can't help himself, where Cav would have the exact same opinion and the same approach as Packet, but he'll do it in a such way where he's a bit calm. He's a bit calmer with it. He's quite sly. He's not stupid.
No, he's not stupid. No,
he does it in a certain way where it can't bite him in the ass. Where Packet, he's all guns blazing, right? So he's just an idiot. But Cav is also a very, very sly cunt. And they're both bullies. They're both bullies and think they can fucking do and say what they want. And like you said, as soon as people even look at another server, that's it. Prio gone, everything.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've seen a lot of that, haven't we, on TikTok? We've seen loads of statements about stuff like that, and yeah. That's the one thing I find ironic. I really, really do. It's very interesting.
I've got something to share with you, and I've got proof of this. I've still got the messages, still got the screenshots, just in case you ever deleted them. I Packet back in April or May. He offered me his half of Unique more than once. He went and he was telling me what they was earning. He was telling me, and I said, because he knows I'm in business and stuff, and I dabble. And I said, look, show me. I want to see some numbers first. I said, it's all good and well saying you earn this, saying you earn that. I'll say it. They was earning 14 grand a month. I've got all the messages. How true that is, I don't know, because the geezer's full of shit.
No, to be fair, it's very doable. It's a large number,
but I did do the maths and I did work out the prior and all that, and if it was close. So,
well, you got to look at it though in a business sense. So what's the population of an average server? 150?
Yeah,
200. You've got to assume 100 of them are customers in a game. So you have 100 customers coming in a day. 14 grand a month is not really crazy number in business terms, is it?
You're right. But if he's earning such good money, why does he want to flog it so quickly?
Because it's a fucking nightmare running a server.
Were
you staff in there or anything? Were you?
No.
Have you ever been staff or anything?
So I did with a few friends. We did build a server, and that's just before I went into Unique. And I said, look, I'm just not enjoying this. It's taking my fun away from my role play. Like, I'm more worried about what the bloke down the road's doing than what I'm doing. Because obviously you want to admin it, right? You want to admin it correctly so the right people are in there.
Yeah.
And I just stepped away in the end.
I've had experience and it's horrendous. But if I was let's for argument's sake, let's say 5 grand a month, I would fucking carry on doing it. I'd tell you that much.
Of course.
I wouldn't want to give it up.
But I think they've been very fortunate. They've been very fortunate with the volunteers that they've had, because it's the people that was earning no money that was doing all the work.
Mm.
And I know a few stories that they've treated a lot of them. I won't bring their names into it because I just don't want to.
No, I understand.
But a lot of head staff members, developers have left due to the way that they're spoken to by Cav and Packet. They almost speak to them like they're working for them. like you do this, or you fucking. I've seen it as a little stream actually. A young lad, he got quite big on the streaming through Unique and that. And there's messages of him, Packet saying to him, "I made you, I own you," all that sort of thing. Like, you be careful what you say. I own you.
Yeah.
And see, Cav's the same. Cav would very much say the same thing as that. But Cav's not stupid enough to write in a message.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
So obviously you fell out with Cav.
Yeah, we fell out, and I just I'll be totally honest. I mean, there was a lot of talks about it, and I just shut my mouth. I think I've mentioned a few things before, but yeah, I don't think I've openly ever really told the story, to be honest, because
now's your time, mate.
the way I see it, me personally, obviously situation's different, but we were good friends. We were very good friends. Whatever happens after that, just done. Do you know what I mean? Look, in my eyes, personally, I try and look back on the good times we had. That goes with anyone, but that's the person I am. But obviously, yeah, like you just fall out, don't you? And then when you have online people, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough, and people get involved, and as you'll know yourself, things get added, and that's why I never spoke, because people go, oh well, I heard a snippet of this, or he said this. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened, and that's where social media gets horrendous, as you'll know. Yeah, we had a bust up behind closed doors, big bust up, very big. He told me what he thought of me. I told him what I thought of him, and then yeah, I've seen digs and stuff throughout the years, but fuck it, do you know what I mean? It is what it is. One thing that really, really fucked me off, actually, personally, was I never found out the truth to this, because it all depends what clique you're in. This is one thing that really, really fucked me off. I I flew into ATM when it was popping, because my server was down for a new season. So I said to the guys, well, let's go somewhere else whilst we're building. Still got to do what we've got to do. Within 10 minutes of being an ATM, every single person associated with me was banned with no reason.
Really?
Still to this day, I do not know why. Don't know anyone in that clique. Hopefully someone, do you know, because that's when it gets annoying, because we fell out personally. You still do what you got to do. We do not know the answer to why that was. We do not know what was said. And at the end of the day, we just fell out. People fall out.
Well, it all makes sense now, though, right? With the way that they run Unique. It all makes sense. Someone says a bad word about them. There was a bloke that reached out to me yesterday, showed me some clips. And he was a police officer, and he was a higher up, and he was saying to Packett's character, which he was, he was doing something. He was like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And he turned around, shut the fuck up. Who are you? I'll do what I want. Completely OOC. And then he brought him into the Discord because the bloke didn't like it. He's just a bully. Like this bloke, he's a nice bloke. He's quite timid. He's not an aggressive person. He was just role playing. And Cavs dragged him into a ticket on Discord. And there's actually a clip of him saying, oh, just shut the fuck up. You're doing my head in. Fuck off. You keep asking me this, asking me that in game. Who are you, sort of thing, to question me? He was like, well, I'm a higher up in the police force. You've just joined the police force 1 day ago. You're a PPC or whatever it is. Of course I'm going to question you. I'm role playing. And then he banned him because he questioned him.
Well, like permanent?
Yeah, he banned him.
Yes, crazy stuff, right, isn't it?
He's like a spoilt child with a football. Do you know what I mean? You know them fucking dickhead kids when you was young. Oh, it's my ball. You're not playing. He's one of them.
Yeah.
He's like that. Yo, can I play? No. It's my ball, and I don't like it. You ain't playing because you don't want to play by my rules.
Do you think? Obviously, like you say, you openly said you were nervous doing what you done yesterday. Do you think it will help you, or do you think, let's say, that they're too big, too powerful? What do you personally think? Obviously, like you say, you've come on here to express your side of the story.
Yeah.
This is, it's not live, but it's live, me and you, unedited. It won't be edited. It will
Yeah.
be raw footage of me and you. Again, you've obviously come on here to express more.
So a lot of people are on side. A lot of people. I've had a lot of messages of people apologising. People that still play unique, apologising that that happened to me and they didn't sort of stand up sooner. But I think the sad bit of it is these bigger streamers that still play unique. It's easier for them to ignore it, even though it's completely wrong that he's been called out as a domestic abuser for years on end.
Let's look at this. So let's say, obviously, I don't have evidence, so let's speak openly. Let's say what you have said is true.
Mm-hmm.
You believe it to be true and you're factual. There is big names. It's a business. There is big names associated with that, and there's big companies associated within that. Do you know what I mean? So obviously, for a start, you have to be very confident with what you bring to the table.
Of course, and that's exactly what I didn't want to do. I'm not going to go in there, like I said earlier, and just make up shit just to try and upset him. I mean, that's not me. I didn't want to go in there and lower myself to his level. So I wanted to make sure that I went in there because I said about 3 or 4 days before that I'm going to be going live over the weekend. And I did it to the Sunday so I could make sure I had everything that I needed and to make sure that it was solid and it was watertight. And that's what I did. And then when I was ready, I went live on Sunday.
I suppose no one could argue you haven't had, no disrespect, you haven't had the time to make sure what you're going to say is proper.
Exactly, yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
I've been watching from afar for months, and I've been collecting little bits as I've been going and working things out. And and it built up to that yesterday.
I mean, I can speak on watching the stream. I mean, at the end when you said don't go anywhere, I was like, wow. But I think, like, I mean, I was reading comments and stuff like that, and I was reading it last night and like stuff like that. But I do have to also, in terms, I have to speak for what's right. I do remember, because I used to be in VCs with Packet all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I do remember they were as bad as each other. I do remember that.
Yeah, 100%.
I've
said it from the start. They're very much both the same people, but Cav's just a bit smarter about it.
No, I mean him and his ex. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, right.
I think, I'm like I say, I'm just being an open party here, but I say from what I remember seeing and hearing, because I used to be in VCs, it was chaos. It was chaos.
Arguments, screaming.
Yeah. It was just, but then like.
So from that, if you've heard it firsthand, I mean, I'm sure she'd give it as good as she got, but how was he? What was his approach towards her in front of company?
Yeah, that I couldn't say. Yeah, that I couldn't say.
Because you couldn't, or you don't want to say.
No, I wouldn't know. I just in front of company, just general.
No, I mean, obviously you heard arguments, right?
Yeah.
So how was he speaking to her?
What I mean in lines of, they were both arguing as bad as each other.
Right. Okay.
As bad as each other. That's just one thing that I will openly say. And like I said, I don't like the guy. I don't like the guy. He doesn't like me. But that's just me saying something that's openly that I know is a factual statement. Yeah. But regardless, obviously things have been provided that are way worse than that, aren't they?
Of course. I mean, people have arguments, right? But there's it's another level when you start laying your hands on that person, especially as a man.
Yeah, most definitely.
It would take a lot for me to react violently towards a woman.
Do you know what I do find, and on like the subject of this whole episode, as I said, do you know what I do find crazy though?
Yeah.
Within 15 minutes, there was a character on 5M made after Packet.
Called Packet Zorma.
Packet Zorma.
Zuma, yeah.
And this is just on the subject of how this isn't to sort of flag up the subject, but it's crazy how quickly
People's minds
it
change.
spreads and how they change. Yeah, because I do have to say I was a bit amazed as well, because these are big people, regardless of what relationship they have.
Yeah.
These big names are all there laughing about it and I just thought, shit, like, it's nuts, isn't it? How the position you were in has changed 180 and way worse.
Yeah.
It's
Look,
nuts.
Karma works in mysterious ways, and that was always going to happen. I said from the start, as soon as that happened with what he did to me, the people that backed me, because there was quite a few that stuck by me, I said to all of them, it will all come out in the wash in the end. It will. Always does. In the end, it will all come out in the wash, because he ain't going to be this big city owner forever. Unique ain't going to be around forever. No RP servers around forever.
No,
They come and go. People get bored. People want the next thing. There's always comes a time of that sort of in that sort of industry where it comes to an end. Good things in RP always comes to an end. So that big city owner presence wasn't going to be there forever, and it ain't going to be there forever. And more people will start talking out about this geezer. I'm telling you, both of them.
Do you think you've given people confidence?
I do. I believe that I've given, and that was my whole goal. Like I said, I just want to prevent it from the next person, and I want it to be the courage for people like, prime example, Brooke, to step up and speak out about this horrible cunt and the way that he treats people, and that's what she's done. So massive respect to her, because regardless of the person she might make out she is, big, sort of strong, loud person, you don't know actually how she is. She suffers very much now. She won't mind me saying this. She suffers very much with anxiety because of the way that he's treated her. I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to, but he's really damaged her over the years. And she's not the person, like, even her family don't recognize her. So I wasn't recognizing her towards the end of their relationship.
It's I mean, like, it's hard, and I ask the questions from an outside perspective and try and stay as neutral as possible. But let's say what you have presented is true, and you say you hold evidence to it. Then, like you say, that is not a nice person.
No. And I think now that certain things are coming out of the woodwork, people are like, I believe that, because once he was like this for me, or once I heard him do this, or I see him do this, and it's all adding up now. It's all adding up now, and people are starting to realize that, yeah, they're absolutely bang on.
And do you not fear that people will look at it as like a get back? And like you say, do you not fear that people will look at it and go, well, we're only looking where we need to look? You know what I mean? Like you said, when people were saying stuff to you, they were like, oh, well, he said something about my arse in roleplay before.
The difference is with me, right? The difference between me and Packet is a lot. Obviously, I'm a lot better looking, and I don't spit all over my screen when I speak, right? But that's the first two things. The next thing is he needs to look good in this industry. He needs to have a good reputation because he runs a city, and that is his income. They've both quit their jobs fucking stupidly. This is how lost these boys are in this fucking industry. They've both quit their jobs, their careers, to do this. So this is all they have. With me, it was always fun. I'm not coming back to stream anyway. I've got no plans of coming back to stream anytime soon. It was never my income. I earned money from it, don't get me wrong. But it was never the plan. I never wanted to be full-time. I never wanted to do this. Yeah. So people's opinions on me I had nothing to lose. I still got nothing to lose. If they change up on me now and say, well, actually, I believe him again, then whatever. I'm in a no better position than I was already.
Yeah, I get you.
So it's a win-win for me. I can't lose because I was already losing.
I suppose, like, in your defense as well, you could have just disappeared.
Of course. I didn't have to come back and say that shit. It'd be different if I was coming back to say all that to try and revive my stream, to try and revive my RP. But I'm not. I haven't come back to try and... I've come back, not necessarily to... I mean, partly to clear my name, of course.
Yeah.
But more to just prevent it happening to someone else that may be a little bit more vulnerable than I am.
What would you... From a personal level, what would you say to the people that, let's say, were against you from that? What would you say to people about that?
Don't always believe everything you're on the internet without sort of solid... Because literally all there was that shitty screenshot that was sort of even taken. It wasn't even a proper screenshot. It was like taken on a phone from another phone. Like, you know, if you take a picture of a phone screen, it was like that. But yeah, just make your own opinions.
I think it's very tough, isn't it? Because you get misguided with whatever comes out.
Of course. And people want to be liked. In that streaming world, people want to be liked. So they will go with the majority. People are too scared to, especially with the way they are, with the way that they try and fucking cancel people and just ban people off their city. Someone could have been there with me when this happened and they wouldn't stand up because that's their earnings. They don't want to be banned from a city. They've got a family to feed or whatever. And I understand that completely. I don't need people to fight my battles. But with the way that they treat people, people don't want to stand up because they don't want the hassle, because they know how they treat other people. But they're in the city because it's popular. They're in the city because it gets views. And they know, you know, they sort of take away what they believe in a little bit and prioritize their earnings, which is fine. I don't blame people for that.
Do you think a lot of people lose like pride and stuff like that and go towards safety?
100%.
Which is understandable, obviously, understandable.
It's a different world now, mate. It's a different world now. Well, I was brought up in a way where loyalty over everything, you know? You stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
And that's why I couldn't sit there no longer. I teach my kids to not be a follower, be a shepherd, not a sheep. You know what I mean? Don't be dragged into things you don't want to be dragged into. Don't be influenced by the wrong people. So for me, sitting there for 4 months, all that was going through my head, and I just thought, it's time. I've got to practice as I preach. I've got to stand up and, you know, do what I teach.
Does it make you nervous coming on here today? How do you? No,
I'm all right. I'm all right now. After that, I'm all right now.
How do you feel when this is out there, coming on live action, being asked questions by I'm sure I know of you. You probably know of me, but we've never spoken. How do you feel like the aftermath of this now? Do you feel happy? Do you feel nervous?
I'm absolutely fine. No, look, people's opinions always be their opinions, right? You could have it in black and white in front of their face. If they don't like you, they'll just decide to keep hating you. But the people that are genuine and the people that just, you know, do the right thing and want to do the right thing, they will. But you always have them people, like I said, the people that just generally don't like me, that I've fallen out in city with before or over streams, because I've had little bickers with people. They will just choose to be against me because they don't like me, regardless if they think it's true or not.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Well, it's very, very, very serious stuff, isn't it? Very serious stuff. And you mentioned you won't come back to stream. Is it done? I suppose the drama from it has probably taught you a big lesson.
Yeah, I always did this for a laugh, mate. And as soon as it stopped being a laugh, I've got no interest anymore.
Yeah, I can
never say never. Role play wise, no, never would stream it again or probably play it.
it's a very dramatic game, isn't it? And
Yes,
that's
yeah, and people get lost in it. That is people's lives. The worst ones are the ones that don't do anything outside of streaming. That literally that do it full time. They're the worst ones because that is everything to them. You know that is their daily gossip, their daily drama. Where normal people, you've got fucking Bill from the office that's nicked Ian's milk out the fucking fridge. You know, that's what they come home and talk about.
yeah.
These people have got nothing to talk about but role play.
Do you know what? And I'll speak about myself. You're 100% correct. I've done it for a long time, full time. I had my own company, closed it down. I'm starting back up because you get to a point where you can't come on stream and talk about anything because everyone's seen it.
Yeah.
And you can't talk to your friends because they don't understand it. You are spot on. And I mean, a lot of us are chasing a dream, and I get it. It's knuckling down and hard work, but you are spot on, and I hope a lot of people realize that. You need to get out more and more. And I know we have, like I say,
100%.
we have dreams, but yeah, I urge a lot of people, take time for yourself, and it's very, very important. I will always reference. Do you know? You obviously know Abdul, the streamer, Abdul HD.
Yeah.
I will always reference his podcast. He's a living legend in the streaming platform. There's a lot of advice in there for many people that stream constant to make sure you're doing it properly. And I couldn't agree with you more. And to go off subject a little bit, but yeah,
you need a balance. You need a balance because it's very easy to get lost. Very easy to get lost in that world. And then there's a lot of people I've met. They are like, you know, they'll play a mechanic, and they genuinely fucking think they're a mechanic. Do you know what I mean? You're pressing fucking E on a car. You're not a mechanic. You know what I mean? But people get lost in that.
They do. And for whatever reason, I mean, there is people that use it. I think we all use this as a form of escape, don't we? But yeah,
100%.
Just to people, yeah, just be careful and remember there is definitely more out there, and that's coming from
1,000,000%, yeah.
Coming from people that have been there.
Yeah. Caused a lot of tension between me and my missus role play. And that's not because of whatever happened behind the scenes. It was the constant being on at this time, so the stream was coming on.
Yeah.
You know, and being on at that time. And then with the character I was playing, like me and Wilson could be in scenes for 4 or 5 hours because we would egg the story on. We would make that story last for 3 days just for the excitement of the gangs, you know. Go and find this for me and meet me back here tomorrow at such and such time. And then it's all like it's all time scaled, and you have to be on because they're coming on to do this and to do that. And it did cause a lot of tension. And I forgot what was important.
Yeah.
And that's my family.
It is a second life, and because of rules, there's nothing you can do unless you're in it. Because you know, from like a business point of view, if there was no such thing as meta, just speaking on this, of course, you could control it without being there. Right, this is what you need to do, lads. This is what you need to do.
100%, yeah.
You can't do that. You're spot on again. It's quite.
But you say that.
Trap.
That is exactly what unique is. I used to be in conversations with them. Now this is where I think a lot of people know this anyway. Cav would bring him in and say, right, today I'm going to get arrested on purpose and he's going to come and break me out of court with an helicopter.
I think
very scripted. Everything in that city is scripted.
Yeah.
And it'll all be for him to be the main character. He's got main character syndrome like I've never known before. If someone else is louder than him in a scene, he'll shoot him. Or, you know, if anyone dares speaks down to him. This is the thing, right? Mr. Wilson was playing the Kingpin, a big, scary gangster that ran the fucking city. He couldn't handle that. So he created this character, which he copied off of someone else, by the way, someone that Bags used to play with, called Uncle P. I don't know if you know about that guy.
No.
But Bags run a server, and I think it was the other owner or something, he had a character called Uncle P that spoke the exact same way, wore that suit, wore the mask, wore whatever, everything he wore. So he literally took someone else's character, and because he's got such bad character syndrome, he's then started playing that character, and now he's the kingpin of the kingpin. because he didn't like the fact that someone else was getting that clout. And I think, that happened a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's we do hear that. You hear that a lot in any role play. You have the rules, and then people.
But bear in mind, Kev was a civ, right? His character was a civilian. He's running around with the most money. He had the monopoly. He owned everything. He had fucking guns when he wanted to because he fucking spawned them in. Him and Packet. Packet's probably the worst role player I've ever come across. He should just spawn in a fucking Tech 9 or whatever it was, and he'll just go sprout the police station for absolutely no reason. VDMing, VDMing, just killing people just because he can kill them. Who's going to ban him? No one. It's his server. Yeah. And then people were scared to interact with him and Cav. Then you see, because they don't want to upset him just in case they get banned.
It's that's it's like that in a lot of places, though, isn't it? It's not after all, it's just a game. But
I've come from a place where the city owners don't play, not really.
Yeah.
Now and again, you might bump into them, but I'd be in a meeting with gangs. We'd be in a KP meeting, right? We brought the gangs in. Packer would just walk in, let himself in because he's given himself keys to the building. Come and sit down at the table. Who are these cunts then? It makes no sense within the RP.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It used to fucking wind me up. And he does it to people all the time.
I bet it's quite refreshing being out of role play, isn't it?
It is, because you notice a lot more.
Yeah. Notice what's real.
Yeah. When you're away from it. When you're away from it, it opens up your eyes. It does. And you realise you notice a lot more things than you did when you was in it and involved.
It's it's going back to like the other side. It's scary, isn't it? Because it's a virtual world. And yeah, you forget what's real, and stepping away from it, I bet it's fucking refreshing. It's tough when it's your job. I'll tell you, it's tough. It's tough when it's your job. But I wouldn't recommend it to most unless you get up to ridiculous levels.
No, I think if you're going to stream and you're going to do that full time, have a variety.
Yeah,
don't just role play. It could send you mad.
Yeah, most, and you care, and like going back to your subject of like servers, like who's going to remember? Who in a year? I mean, as good as Mr. Wilson is, who in a year's time will talk about Mr. Wilson? Who will go? Do you remember that scene with Tazz the Geezer? It's gone, and I think a lot of people need to just enjoy it while it's happening.
Exactly that. Live in the moment, and don't take it to bed with you.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of us do, including myself. But we definitely need to remember that it's just a game, and it gets very emotional. And then look at the situation that this is ending. It's crazy.
It's just a game.
That
could have all been avoided. We could have both said our pieces and moved on. Because I was leaving anyway. A lot of people think I got banned, by the way. That was only like a 1-day ban. The whole conversation. I decided to leave. I said in the clip, like, regardless of what happens here, I'm not going to be rejoining the server anyway. Because I'd had enough of it. It was just controlled bollocks. You didn't have free reign. You was a character they wanted you to be, not the character you wanted to be.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, I hope that this has brought you some peace. I mean, it's been a long time, and I hope, like you say, the stuff that you've said, and I hope you say it fills people with confidence to speak up about anything in life. Do you know what I mean?
One thing I do want to say before we end is anyone that I did generally upset in RP, it wasn't personal. And I apologize if I actually upset anyone with the way my character behaved. Women, men, drafts, kettles, whatever they might identify as. I generally do apologize if it has upset you. But please remember, it's just a fucking game. And it was just a character. And it was nothing. I don't know these people personally. I don't need to attack a person. I don't know them.
And you were a high-ranking gang member, weren't you? So
yeah, I was the Kingpin's right-hand man. I was the muscle. When I met Tyrone, bumped into him in the city. Tyrone was actually the one that introduced me to Mr. Wilson, and the whole story behind it was Mr. Wilson's lost his way a little bit. He's gone a bit soft. He needs a bit of muscle to chuck a bit of authority around. So already walking into that, I had to be this character that was a zero tolerance to bollocks kind of person. And that's exactly what I played. And that's why it worked so well. Mr. Wilson was one, all right, Gov, calm down. but when it needed to, he was like, right, Gov, go fuck him up. I've had enough now, sort of thing. And that was the character I played. I was the one where someone piped up. I'd tell them to shut the fuck up before I cut their fucking tits off. I was that guy. And Mr. Wilson played a lot of a calmer character. And that's why it worked so well. It was just we were just actors playing a character.
That's all you are, mate. That's all you are. Whether it's your voice, whether it's your name. I think a lot of people get confused that you are an actor. We're pretty shit actors because we've had no training.
Exactly. Yeah,
we're doing the best we can, and some people
that's what it was.
Very well.
That's all it was. He was a ruthless, rude, arrogant cunt, and that is what,
which makes great entertainment.
Well, I built him off, and people loved it.
But like you said, but it's not. This is where
nothing was ever personal.
I find that's one thing I find crazy when you watch a movie and stuff like that. In roleplay, I've always wanted to say things and do things. If you saw that in a movie, you would never ever ring up the actor and go, "I can't believe you said the N word or whatever." Yeah. No, I can't believe you support German. Do you know what I mean? You're like, it's for entertainment and just enjoy the show. But then again, on the flip side, there is people that go completely fucking OOC and it is personal. So you never fucking win. That doesn't happen in movies. Happens on live TV. But anyway, thank you for coming on, mate. I'm glad. I'm glad that you chose this channel to get your story out there. I'm glad that you took the time to share your story. And like I say, I'm an uneducated party. Didn't know a lot. I've heard it firsthand, and I hope that I asked the correct questions and got your side of the story out there, mate.
Lovely. No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And I hope you enjoy not living in a video game, because I'm sure I'd love it.
Or maybe try it one day. You never know, eh?
Mr. Wilson's got a good server.
He has. Want him. I've got good expectations for that, and I do watch from afar, even though I don't play anymore. I will always support him because he's always been there from the start. He's a good friend of mine.
Got a lot of time for him. Got a lot of time. He's a very good man and one of the best by far. Yeah. No, but yeah. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. I appreciate it massively.
Cheers, mate.